15th, 1982. A lifeless body was found floating in the Green River in Seattle, USA. The police were called to the scene, and what they discovered was horrifying. The victim was a 16-year-old girl named Wendy Lee Caulfield. A unique kind of spray paint was found on clothing wrapped around the victim's neck. The post-mortem revealed a grim truth. She had been sexually assaulted before being murdered. An investigation began, but days passed, and not a single lead was found. Then, when things couldn't get any worse, exactly 3 weeks later, in August 1982, the unthinkable happened again. This time, not one, but 3 bodies were pulled out of the same river. The ages of these victims were 17 years, 23 years, and 31 years. And like Wendy, their post-mortem told a chilling story. Each had been attacked and either strangled or had their necks broken. By now, police were searching for answers. Who was doing it, and why? They could find no connection between the victims, and no clues were left behind. But it didn't stop there. Between October and December 1982, a total of 5 women were killed, and their bodies were found near the Green River. The Green River was no longer just a scenic spot, it had become the center of fear and tragedy. People were terrified. No one knew when the killer would strike next, or who the next victim might be. The police were investigating a string of horrifying murders around the Green River in Washington state. They had a number of suspects, but one name kept popping up: Gary Leon Ridgway. When 18-year-old Marie Malvar disappeared, her boyfriend and her pimp reported seeing her climb into a truck. They later found a truck in front of Ridgway's house, which they thought was the same one she had boarded the day she went missing. The police were determined, collecting semen samples from the victims' bodies and comparing them to the suspect's DNA. But despite the evidence, there was no match. Ridgway, along with other suspects, was released, and the investigation hit a wall. What no one realized at the time was that one of those suspects, the one who'd been cleared, was in fact the killer. Ridgway wasn't just a suspect. He was the one they were looking for. This was only the start of Gary Leon Ridgway's journey. To understand what made him a serial killer, we need to look at his childhood first. Gary Leon Ridgway was born on February 18, 1949, in Salt Lake City, Utah, USA. He grew up in a tense and dysfunctional household. His mother was controlling, his parents often fought, and his father, who worked as a bus driver, regularly ranted about sex workers. Ridgway struggled in school due to dyslexia and was held back a grade. But his real troubles ran much deeper. Until his early teens, he had a bedwetting problem, and each time it happened, his mother would aggressively clean him up, an experience that left him with disturbing, conflicted emotions. He later admitted that, even as a teenager, he felt both anger and an unsettling attraction toward his mother. His violent tendencies surfaced early. At just 16, he lured a 6-year-old boy into the woods and stabbed him in the ribs, nearly killing him. The boy survived, but Ridgway walked away without serious consequences. No one knew it at the time, but this attack was just the beginning. In 1969, he graduated from Tyee High School and married his 19-year-old high school sweetheart, Claudia Craig. Soon after, he joined the U.S. Navy and was sent to Vietnam, where he served on a supply ship and even saw combat. While overseas, he regularly visited workers, eventually contracting gonorrhea. Though it frustrated him, he continued his reckless behavior. His marriage fell apart within a year. In 1973, he married again, this time to Marcia Lorraine Winslow. His second wife, Marcia Winslow, claimed he once put her in a chokehold. Strangely, during this time, he also became deeply religious. He preached door to door, read the Bible aloud at work and home, and insisted his wife follow strict church teachings. At times, he would even break down crying after sermons. Yet, his so-called faith didn't stop him from frequently soliciting sex workers. Ridgway had an insatiable sexual appetite, demanding intimacy multiple times a day. He often insisted on doing it in public places, sometimes near areas where he later dumped his victims. He had a son with Marcia, But his family life didn't stop his dark urges. This marriage also fell apart in 1981 due to his violent behavior and ongoing visits to sex workers. Just months later, in 1982, a horrifying discovery was made. A 16-year-old girl was found dead, floating in the Green River in Seattle. For years, Ridgway kept up his double life. By day, he worked as a truck painter, just a regular guy. But at night, he hunted women. Most of his victims were sex workers or young runaways, women who could disappear without much attention. He knew that, and he used it to his advantage. Around 1985, Ridgway began dating Judith Mawson, who became his third wife in 1988. She thought she had found a loving husband, but even marriage didn't stop his killing spree. He kept visiting workers, and he kept killing them. As the number of victims climbed, the police launched a massive task force to track down the Green River killer. Ridgway was still a suspect, and in 1987, the police collected hair and saliva samples from him. But once again, the technology wasn't advanced enough to connect him to the crimes, and so he walked free. Between 1982 and 1990, Ridgway killed over 15 women. By 2001, the number had grown to more than 50. He had spent nearly 2 decades evading capture. But no killer can run forever. So how did he finally get caught? And what did he confess when the truth came out? The answer will leave you stunned. In the early 2000s, DNA testing had advanced to the point where it could be used to match evidence from cold cases. The Green River Task Force, set up in 1984 to investigate the murders, re-examined evidence with new DNA technology. This breakthrough led to Ridgway's arrest on November 30th, 2001. The police had finally caught the Green River killer. Outside his workplace, he was arrested and initially denied everything. But as the evidence mounted, he had no way out. In 2003, he confessed to killing 48 women, though experts believe the true number could be over 70. His victims were mainly vulnerable women, sex workers and runaways, because he assumed no one would look for them. He lured them into his truck, strangled them with his hands or a rope, and dumped their bodies in remote areas. What made him even more disturbing was his habit of revisiting the corpses, sometimes days later, to commit unspeakable acts. When asked why he did it, Ridgway admitted that he hated women and wanted to kill as many as possible. He felt a twisted sense of power and control through murder and showed no remorse. Even during his trial, when victims' families shared their grief, he remained emotionless. But one moment shocked the courtroom. A victim's father forgave him, and for the first time, Ridgway broke down in tears. Some believed it was real. Others thought it was just another act. Despite his horrific crimes, Ridgway avoided the death penalty by agreeing to help investigators find more victims. In 2003, he was sentenced to life in prison without parole. To this day, he remains behind bars, and many believe there are still unidentified victims. His case serves as a chilling reminder that the most dangerous individuals don't always stand out. They blend into society, hiding in plain sight while carrying dark secrets. If you found this story shocking, don't forget to like and share this video to spread awareness. What do you think? Should Ridgway have received the death penalty? Let me know in the comments, and if you haven't already, subscribe for more true crime stories. Stay safe, and always be aware of the world around you.